On the alien world of Vaelthra, the forest did not grow, it remembered. Its trees were older than stars, their roots twisting through layers of forgotten civilizations, absorbing echoes of war, prayers, and extinction. Pale fog clung to the ground like a living thing, drifting between trunks thicker than human buildings. Every sound carried too far here, as if the forest wanted witnesses. At the heart of this ancient woodland stood a structure that did not belong. A wooden hut, crooked and scarred, built with hands that knew fear and urgency rather than patience. Its roof sagged under alien gravity, its planks darkened by spores and time. A single dim amber light glowed from within, trembling like a nervous heartbeat. And around it, they gathered. 36 alien riders formed a perfect circle, their formation precise, ritualistic, and terrifyingly calm. Each rode a massive reptilian beast, 6-legged creatures with armored hides, thick tails, and eyes that shimmered like wet obsidian. Their claws sank deep into the soil, unmoving. The riders themselves were tall and slender, their skin a cool shade of blue-violet, faintly luminescent beneath the fog. Long white hair flowed down their backs, braided with bone charms and thin metal sigils that clicked softly in the silence. Their eyes glowed faint silver, not with rage, but with certainty. They were the Corran Vanguard, elite riders of the Vaelthran Dominion, conquerors of worlds. And tonight, they were afraid. 1. The thing that should not exist. Commander Shainira sat atop her mount, fingers tightening around the organic reins fused directly into the beast's nervous system. She had faced planetary annihilation, hive mind invasions, and stellar collapse. None of it felt like this. Confirm again, she said through the neural link, her voice echoing across the minds of her unit. The anomaly is inside the structure? Yes, replied Scout Seer Talreth, his mental tone uneasy. No energy signature. No weapons. No shields. Yet, the forest bends toward it. Shainira studied the hut. Wood was primitive. Laughably so. Vaelthra had long abandoned such materials centuries ago. And yet, every sensor failed near the structure. Even the forest creatures, normally hostile, kept their distance, watching from the shadows with unnatural stillness. What species? She asked. Talreth hesitated. Unknown. Bipedal. Fragile biology. Carbon-based. No exoskeleton. No psionic aura. A prey species, another rider scoffed. Why surround it like this? Shainira didn't answer. Because the forest had never been wrong. And the forest was afraid. 2. The man inside the hut. Inside the hut, Elias Mercer sat on the floor, his back against the wall, staring at a flickering lantern he barely remembered lighting. His hands were shaking. Not from fear. From exhaustion. I just wanted silence, he whispered to no one. Elias was human, or had been. Earth felt like a half-remembered dream now. He remembered a ship, a malfunction, light tearing through space, and then, impact. Vaelthra. A world no human chart had ever recorded. Days, maybe weeks, had passed since the crash. The forest had provided wood, water, even warmth when the nights turned razor cold. It was as if the planet itself tolerated him. But tonight was different. Tonight, the forest watched. Elias could feel it. The air outside the hut vibrated with weight. Heavy footsteps. Controlled breathing not meant for lungs like his. They found me, he murmured. The lantern flickered violently, casting shadows that twisted into alien shapes along the walls. He closed his eyes. I didn't come here to fight. 3. The Vanguard's dilemma. Shainira raised her hand. The signal rippled through the riders. The circle tightened slightly, mounts shifting in perfect unison. No weapons were drawn. This was not a battle formation. It was a containment ritual. Talreth, she commanded, probe again. Carefully. The seer closed his eyes, extending his consciousness toward the hut. Instantly, pain lanced through his skull. He gasped, clutching his head. There is a void, he said shakily. Not emptiness. Something folded inward. As if reality itself is resting. Shainira felt a chill crawl along her spine. That description matched ancient Vaelthran myths, stories dismissed as superstition. The still ones. Beings rumored to exist outside the cycle of conquest, untouched by dominion or extinction. They did not rule. They endured. No, she whispered. It can't be. A rider beside her leaned forward. Commander, give the order. We erase the structure and everything within. Rhaenyra looked at the hut again. The amber light flickered, once, twice. And then, steadied. Like a heartbeat finding rhythm. No, she said firmly. We wait. 4. First contact without words. Elias heard the beasts before he saw them. Low, resonant breaths. The scrape of claws against stone. The subtle hum of technology beyond his understanding. His chest tightened. Okay, he whispered, standing slowly. Okay. Easy. He opened the door. The fog parted like a curtain. Dozens of alien riders stared down at him from atop towering reptilian mounts. Their eyes glowed softly in the mist, their expressions unreadable yet focused. Elias raised his empty hands. I'm not armed, he said, though he knew they didn't understand his words. I'm just lost. Rhaenyra felt something break inside her chest. The being before them was exactly as Talreth described, fragile, exposed, biologically absurd. And yet, the forest leaned closer. No weapons activated. No alarms sounded. Instead, the ground beneath Elias' feet pulsed faintly with bioluminescent veins. A ripple of shock moved through the vanguard. He's anchored, Talreth whispered in awe. The planet recognizes him. That's impossible, another rider hissed. Rhaenyra dismounted. Gasps echoed through the neural link. A commander dismounting in unknown territory was unthinkable. Yet she stepped forward, boots sinking into damp soil. She removed her helmet. Her face was smooth, angular, her silver eyes reflecting Elias' lantern light. Long white hair fell free around her shoulders. Slowly, deliberately, she placed one hand over her chest. A universal gesture. Elias swallowed. Then mirrored it. 5. The truth of the Still Ones. Talreth finally understood. The Still Ones were not a species. They were survivors. Beings whose civilizations had been erased so completely that reality itself folded around their existence, refusing to let them vanish. They carried no weapons, no empires. Only presence. Elias was not powerful in the way the Dominion understood power. He was powerful because the universe had decided he must not end. Rhaenyra felt it now, the quiet gravity around him. Not domination, not fear. Belonging. This world will protect him, Talreth said. Even from us. The riders shifted uneasily. Vaelthra was a strategic planet. The Dominion needed it. But to challenge a Still One was to invite cosmic retribution, an ancient law written not in politics, but in physics. Rhaenyra met Elias' eyes. He looked tired. Lonely. Human. She made her decision. 6. The circle breaks. Rhaenyra turned and raised her arm. The formation broke. Mount stepped back, claws retracting from the soil. Weapons disengaged. The oppressive weight lifted like a storm moving on. One by one, the riders bowed, not deeply, but enough to show acknowledgement. Respect. The forest exhaled. Elias felt his knees weaken. He didn't know why, but he knew something terrible had just passed him by. Rhaenyra approached the hut's doorway. She spoke, not with sound, but through the subtle manipulation of atmospheric resonance. A primitive form of translation. You are under Vaelthran observation, her voice echoed softly in his mind. But you are not prey. Elias blinked in shock. You understand me? Enough, she replied. You are not meant to be taken. Then why are you here? Rhaenyra looked at the trees, the fog, the ancient soil. To learn, she said honestly. And to remember that not all power is claimed. She stepped back. The vanguard mounted up. As they retreated into the mist, the forest closed behind them, swallowing metal and scale alike. 7. The hut that became a legend. Years later, Vaelthran scouts would whisper of a place deep in the forest where no army marched. A wooden hut that never rotted. A human figure who aged slowly, teaching the forest to heal where battles once scarred it. They called him the Quiet Anchor. And the Karun vanguard, the greatest riders of the Dominion, would always divert their path when their sensors detected that amber light. Because even conquerors know when the universe has chosen someone to remain. And the forest of Vaelthra would always remember the night it bowed, not to sky, not to empire, but to a fragile being who refused to disappear.